Hi guys, it's Laura. How you making out? Everyone's offering all these beautiful master classes. Yesterday I was doing a live and I was talking a lot about like childbirth and stuff, and it turned into a discussion about iPad illustration. I'm Laura Volpin-Casta, the founder of Fashion Illustration Tribe and a singer and a whole bunch of other things. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to draw on your art on your iPad, because believe it or not, there are apps that are like wicked cheap, like $4.99 for the bells and whistles, and they also have free versions. I'm going to teach you my favorite one that I teach for fashion illustration. And because I worked closely with some of you yesterday, I got a whole bunch of great questions, right? Because I've been working with this app for a while, so I got used to how to do some things, and I realized they're not so, simple. So, that's why I create classes on this stuff too, so you can ask everything and get your answers. But what I'm going to do right now is take you through all the questions that my friend asked me yesterday. Hopefully I can flip the camera. Yeah, I can. All right, so let's go to the iPad so we can get as much done as possible in this time. Here we go. Hi, Alexandra. We're going to do a drawing class on the iPad. So let me flip. How do I flip? Am I flipped? Okay. Here's my iPad. It's a little awkward to get my tripod, over it. So hopefully this is going to be good enough for you all with the balance, and you'll be able to see the whole screen. So we'll work it out as we go. Let me know if there's anything you can't see. Hello, sweetheart. So I kind of need to see the edges of the iPad because, like totally, because let me just prop it up a little. Because the tools on this app live, here we go. My feet are like here and here. The tools live on the edges. Now, this is an iPad Pro. You don't need an iPad Pro. You can use iPhone with this app. You can buy it on Google Play and use it with other kinds of tablets. I'm just using it on iPad Pro today. I originally learned this app on, iPad Mini. And if you don't buy the the paid version, that's $5, then there's a few bells and whistles you don't get. If you don't have iPad Pro, there might be a few capabilities that you don't get. In the iPhone, it's definitely more limited. But today I'm going to show you all the things that my friend was asking me about yesterday when she started learning it. So I'm opening the app. It's called Tayasui Sketches. I should back up because not all of you were here yesterday and you don't know what I'm talking about. So the app looks like this. Hang on. If you go to the App Store, this is the icon. And you'll see it actually says Sketches Pro. So if you search for Sketches Pro, it is called Tayasui, but I don't need to spell that for you. T-A-Y-A. If you're in the comments and you have the app, you can type it in for everybody. T-A-Y-A-S-U-I. But I guess if you search for Sketches Pro, it's going to show up anyway. Sketches. Okay. So if I click on the app, it opens up. You can see right now that it's oriented sideways. Just let it load for a minute. It's a great app because it has all these little Moleskine sketchbooks inside it. It starts with just one, but you can create as many as you want. And then when you open one, you can open a piece of artwork. Oh, I started saving it in the cloud, but you can also have it save in your device, which makes it upload quicker. So for example, here's a piece of art I created using the app. See the tools on the left? And what I'm going to show you today. Hello, Beto. How you doing? Every time musicians come on, I'm like, oh my God, we got to make music. This piece of art is about music. And what I can also show you, watch what happens when I pinch my art. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. See, swiping with 2 fingers undoes something, and swiping 2 fingers to the right redoes. You see that white line disappear and reappear? Okay. If I pinch, I can close. I should be able to close up, my file. I can open another one. Just to give you like a clue. The only reason it says downloading your file, thank you so much, Alexandra. It says It says downloading file because I have it saving to cloud. You don't have to save it to the cloud. Oh my gosh, you know what's amazing about this piece is I believe I created it vertically. I did. I know I did. And when I opened it today and it was like this, it was the first time I had ever seen it that way. And I realized that I love it as a horizontal. It feels entirely different. Isn't that interesting how you can surprise yourself with your own work? Do you know what I'm saying? Very interesting to me, getting a fresh perspective on my own piece. Now, the thing is, you can choose to work portrait or landscape. So let's say I'm going to create a brand new piece of art, okay? I'm going to click on the plus. That had like a plus sign. And now I have a blank canvas. My tools are all here. And the reason why I love Tayasui app is because it's super intuitive. I am not someone, I could show you some other apps like Procreate, Autodesk Sketchbook, some really well-known apps that are just miserable to work with if you ask me. I am emotional, impulsive, impatient. I like to create quickly. Immediacy is important to me. Hang on, let me just wipe off my camera because I feel like it's a little smudgy. Now it looks worse. I like to work in a moment. I don't like to sit around clicking and looking at menus and like, anyone agree with me? Like digging around looking for things. Look how clean this app is. So on the right, you get pencils, colored pencil. And I want to show you, you see how gritty this pencil is? Like a real pencil. Not only is it gritty like a real pencil, but do you see how the more I color, the more opaque it gets? That's also like a real pencil. Alexandra, right? To me, I hate to say it, but to me, I associate that with like femininity, like not that for females, but that's what I call feminine energy. I'll never forget once I started learning using, great, try the app. I started learning Adobe Illustrator, which I detest. And when I posted about it on social media, like every man I ever knew got on and said, "Oh my God, you're going to love it. It's the greatest." And I was like, wow, I guess, you know, maybe the male brain loves like that kind of vibe. Okay, I didn't tell you what I just did. So let me tell you what I just did. But like for me, it needs to be instant. And the reason I think I associate that with the femininity as well is like if you're raising a bunch of kids, you don't have time to be clicking around and holding up. Like, have to work quickly. I have to work quickly. It's how my life is designed. So let me just show you something before I go through all the tools. The tools are all here. So you literally own all these art supplies now, but you don't need real estate to house them. You don't need boxes. You don't need bins. Your tools are here and they're inside and they're so easy to access. Now, if I'm creating art and I don't want to see the tools, I click on this little icon down here. It's a little L shape. And look, everything disappears so that I can just work. By the way, I can undo everything I did. If I want to get more like, let's say I want to do some kind of figurative gesture, I can do that right now. Okay, let's just say, using the pencil. And I want to show you again how gritty the pencil is if I choose watercolor paper, which I have. I don't know if you can see the detail, the texture on the paper. A lot of apps don't give you that. And that's another thing I love about Tayasui. So another thing I want to show you that you can do, and please ask questions as we go if you have them. I'm going to bring my tools back. And I'm a lefty, so I also enjoy being able to access the tools from the left. There are some settings such as palm resist, which means it won't sense your hand resting. I'm not going to get into that right now, but like, okay, when I click on a tool, for example, the pencil, it could be black, like graphite or gray. I select colors down here on the right. And if I click, I get some standard colors. Actually, this is a palette that I saved, but it comes with like a whole rainbow up the right, and you can always customize a color. So let's say I don't want red. if I hold my finger down on the red and wait a second, I can choose anything from pure red to red plus white, red plus white, red plus white, red plus white. You can see the color developing up here. Red plus white until it is actually white. I can do red. It's a good way to learn. Hi. It's a good way to learn color theory too. I can have pure red, and as I drag this little circle down, do you see that little circle? There we go. I can get red plus black, red plus black, red plus black, red plus black, red plus black until it becomes pure black. So those are called shades. And these are called pastels or tints when you add white to a color. That's a little color theory for you. And when you add gray to a color, those are called tones, technically speaking. So you get, it's easier than mixing colors with paint, for sure. So you can select a color, you can add it to your palette, whatever. Okay, so that's a little bit about color selection. They have a tool here that like mixes your colors, but I never use it. You can see that what happens down there. All right, so back up to the tools. I want to show you that when I click on that pencil tool, I get some options. Oops, sorry, you couldn't see that. So when I click on the pencil tool, I get some options. I get a round tip. I get a larger round tip. Oh, it's yellow, so you can't see. Doesn't seem round. It doesn't seem larger to me. Hang on. That's interesting. Okay, well, red pencil. And then when I click on it again, I can choose the square tipped pencil. Wow, that one is, oh, I know what's going on. Okay, I'll show you what's going on in a minute. I might as well cut to the chase. So when you go here, there are different options for your pencil. What's this? I never tried this. Oh, it's a super fat, exaggerated pencil. That's cool. I didn't know about that. And when I click again, there is a pencil that's tapers. Oh, wow, guys. I've never used that before. You see the little, how it looks like narrow to wide. Sorry. Almost like a brush. That means that when I use this pencil, let me make it large so you can really see it. It's got line quality. It has line variety to it. So it goes from like thick to thin. Whereas when I was using it earlier, I was just getting, let me contrast, getting just a line that has no dynamics to it. It's just even from beginning to end. If I use that other one, I get, look how it starts dark and it ends light and it like tapers. So it's creating these organic qualities that are more like natural drawing. So that's super cool. Okay, but now there's more going on that I haven't shared with you. So let's take a look at that. Before I start showing you other tools, because right now we're working with the colored pencil, but there is a fine line ink pen with options. Oh, it turned yellow. Okay, so that's like a hard, thin line. There is, it also has a square. Let's see what the square tip. Ugh. Wow, I didn't even know about that one. Then there's marker. Markers go from regular like round tips to chisel tips, which is super fun. If a lot of my people are into fashion, this is very much like an art marker. But let me show you, because you might be hating this already. I know that I was. What I used to hate about the concept of digital drawing was see how it's pure opaque, right? I don't like that. I like things to feel like wet and fluid or uneven. So don't worry, because, okay, when I choose a tool such as the chisel tip marker, let me make it, okay, it's off. Now I've selected it. I get to choose the tip. I chose the chisel tip. Well, guess what else happens? Hang on, let me turn it off and then turn it back on. Okay, when I choose a tool, on the right, these sliders show up. Oh, they disappeared. That was the point. Okay, so here's the tool. Hopefully you can see it happen. When I hold my finger down on the tool, on the right, these sliders just showed up. One slider represents the size of the marker, from huge to, smaller, 2. If I slide it down farther, it's even smaller. Okay. But then this slider up here does, full on opaque, which is what we were working with. Now let me take a different color for contrast. Let me take royal blue. I can go lighter. Let me use a wider tip. I can get more and more sheer. Do you see this? More opaque up here. And then when I bring it down, more sheer. Do you see? But oh, sorry. You're not seeing what I'm doing. I'm doing the best I can. I'm like looking at the screen and not at my phone. You see how it gets sheerer? And you see how it actually looks dried up? I'm zooming in now by pinching and opening. You see how it looks dried up a little bit like a regular marker? I love it for this. It only becomes opaque if I layer and layer it. So it's acting like a marker really behaves. And I love that. Okay, but there's something else at play when that happens as well. I'm doing this to show you. I have iPad Pro, so I get more undos than some of the other, I think you get a certain number of undos on different devices. So here's my marker. I want to show you one more option. So you have a slider for opacity from totally opaque to totally sheer. And then you have a slider for size from large to small. I'm using large so you can really see how you get like a menu. So you can feel the full effect of anything I do. And this shows me from dark to light, right? Opaque to sheer. Let's do one more. Okay. And then the other thing is, do you see this? Okay. Because I'm so much into gouache, maybe it's just my personality, I don't know, but this setting, there's 2 circles. Look what happens when I touch. Okay, there's 2 different settings. And this is actually super important, so I'll show you why. Let me back up again. I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to create a big circle. Okay, with a marker. Doesn't have to be with a marker, right? Okay, now I'm going to pick another color. I'm going to pick yellow, and I'm going to show you how this makes impact. Right now, it's in the masking mode, which means if I put a color over a color, it covers it up. You see that? Depending how opaque it is, it will cover up more. So let me do less opaque, and then more opaque. But check this out, and let me know if you have questions as we go, is that if I click this again, my loves, different setting, this setting is more of a transparency mode, okay? See? So instead of masking over the blue, it mixes with the blue and creates sort of a green. Big difference how the color is behaving. So I tend to work with gouache, which means I usually let one color dry before I use another color on top of it. Either the colored pencil over gouache, or if it's gouache over gouache, I'm usually waiting till one color dries before I use the other color. But if I use this setting that I just showed you, then let me show you again just by using another color. Let's pick a different color, pink. Okay, what happens when I use pink over yellow like this? It's sheer. So pink over yellow becomes orange. But if I click that setting again and I use pink over yellow, you see how it just sits on its own? Okay? Oh, wow. And this is super exciting. I'm actually... this stuff never gets old for me. I hope that made sense to you. Maybe give me an emoji or something if it's making sense. Because literally, it's showing transparency, right? And the color that's in the middle is another color, really. Okay, so we talked about masking mode versus transparency mode. We talked about size slider. We talked about opacity slider. This is size and this is opacity. Okay. So now that we got that down, I want to show you what my friend was asking me about. She drew a picture of a nurse, and it was a portrait of a nurse, and she wanted to put the nurse in on top of a photo of a hospital for the virus. Okay, so I want to show you a few things. I won't show you everything, but there's a lot to show you. At the top right, there's an icon that looks like little layers. You see that? I'm going to click on it, and it shows me my layers. What are layers? They're like sheets of tracing paper that pile up. So the one on the bottom is my drawing. I mean, it's my paper. So if I select the little gears, the little settings gear, it will give me some options. Should erase paper? I'm just going to say yes. It's going to offer me some other papers. Fine grain, Le Grand Bloc, watercolor, recycled, cardboard, wood, graph paper, canvas, grid, dot. Okay, it's amazing. It's so cool. No grain, fine grain. And then it also lets me choose colored papers, which so many apps don't let you do. And then it also lets you select, white paper or image, import photo. So I'm going to click import photo and choose a photo to import. I was thinking maybe I should use a photo that's actually a photo instead of a photo that is drawing. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just trying to, I like to be inspired, whatever I'm doing, because it's kind of funny. I'm going to import a photo of myself singing. And I'm going to zoom in on that photo. Whoops. Kind of wishing I didn't. Ha ha. Okay, here's the photo. And then there's a little icon down here. Hey, Noah, this is for you. So I just imported the photo. And then I get to choose whether to, what does that mean? Just like an arrow button. Or there's, I'm getting ideas. It's very pixelated, but so I'm going to create art out of it. Hi. And then I get to delete it. Hang on, it's not showing up. Let me see if I can get it to show up. Anyway, there's an X and there's a check mark. So I'm going to click on the check mark. And that just made the photo be on my base layer. But don't worry, because I have this, remember, if I click on the layers icon, my layers show up. And it will literally show that my photo is on the bottom layer. And then what I can do is I can select, see the layer I select will always turn blue. You see that blue line? And if I want to add more layers, I can add another. And the beautiful thing about adding layers is you can create on each one, and then you can like delete the ones you don't like, or you can add them all together later. So now I have a photo on my bottom layer, and then I can start creating on a layer above that. So for example, what if I wanted to, I don't usually work this way, but it's kind of fun to think like, okay, I'm so glad my friend made me think of it. So let's take a tool we haven't discovered yet. So here on the left, we have a brush pen. I'm gonna select a brush pen. Okay, I definitely don't want that to be so opaque. Let's see, I'm gonna undo it. Oh, it's more sheer now. I like that. I could change the size if I want, but I think I'm gonna keep it big. And I didn't really have a concept for this yet, but let's see what we do. I'm gonna go to the bottom left corner. You see that little L square? If I click on that little L, my tools disappear so that I'm not distracted by them. And then maybe what I wanna do is like, maybe I'm creating like, because if this one's about music, right? Oops, go away. Maybe I want to make art that looks like music feels around the singer. Oops. Sometimes I have to avoid the edges of my screen because if I go too far to the edge, it thinks I'm selecting something that's a little bit annoying. Now I'm going to pick up my yellow and add to it. And, ooh, let's see. I'm just getting inspired as we go. Maybe there's like energy. Let me pick another color. Blue. And I'm telling you guys, I'll be super playful because, man, that's all I want you to do is be playful. Do not take it all so seriously, especially in the beginning while you're exploring things. So I'm going to show you another one of my favorite tools. Hang on. I'm going to draw a heart and a heart. Let's see what happens. Ooh, this is what music feels like. Okay, so now I usually teach fashion illustration. Here I'm, creating something different. So now let's say, I want to show you one of my favorite tools. And please don't hesitate to ask questions if you have questions. I'm bringing my tools back because we didn't look at them all. Let me show you some. There's like a pastel crayon. I never use that one personally. There's an acrylic paint brush with a square tip. Oh, it doesn't get very, wait, I want to see how big it gets. Ooh, see, it's kind of fun, but I'm not into it right now. And I guess I could make it more sheer. Let's see what that looks like. Sheer acrylic. Ooh, that's, okay, this is too fun. I can't even handle it. Okay. I'm going to leave it. Now I'm going to go to the watercolor brush. Watercolor, oh man, it's one of my favorites. Let me get white right now and just show you my favorite watercolor tool is this one. Because, no, not like that. It won't go away. Maybe that's not the one I love the most. Is it this one? Yeah. I love those blobs. And that's why I love this app, because it's it has these like organic feeling tools. That's like a huge blob of white watercolor. And you see how opaque it is? So it's more like gouache than watercolor. And like I said, because of the fashion background, I love having that gouache feeling. But it's also becoming opaque because I have that. Remember we talked earlier about this masking tool? So if I turn that tool off, thanks for the hearts. Love it. Let's see what happens when I turn it onto a more transparency tool. Actually, it's still acting the same. Okay. And if I take it much smaller, then I can literally, let me pick a color, I can literally paint. But then it's a more of an even color, okay? And any of you who are on here who actually have been playing with this stuff, you know, speak up and attest to the fact that you can't substitute playing. You got to play. You got to give yourself the time to play with it. Hey, John, how are ya? High school friends popping on. Yo, hi. Okay, so now I've just been undoing. I can also redo and undo. And I find that this redoing and undoing aspect is very important for artists who have been afraid all their life of making a mistake or something, quote unquote, mistake, which all my courses are kind of about undoing that vibe. But you can literally experiment and undo after you experiment. Try something, undo what you tried. Try a color, remove the color. Paint, remove the paint. That's something you can't do on paper. And I do definitely, though, encourage you to play with paper, too. There are other ways to use the watercolor tool. You can use it like a thin, fine brush. Thanks, John. Thank God we're good, we're okay. And day by day. And I hope all well is all well on your side, too. We're all in this together. What a time. Let's see if I can show you something with, I'll use a black watercolor brush and I'll make it small just for contrast to show you guys. You see? It's almost like drawing. And then I'm going to try the airbrush. You know what, guys? To be honest, check this out. If I go back to my layers, that we talked about earlier, I can make a layer invisible by clicking the eyeballs, the little eyeball. And now the photo disappeared and the paint stayed. And I got a transparent background. That's why the checkerboard. But I can make that layer come back. Or I can change it. I can make the photo disappear and I could put colored paper or any paper. I hope I'm making sense. So let's just say I make both of those disappear. And select another layer so that I can show you the airbrush. Let's select the layer. It has to be blue because I tap on it to make it show up. And then let's pick a color. Go away, layers. Here we go. Let's do black airbrush. Cool. And like I said, I like this app because of the organic feeling, how things layer up. And I can pick another color and sprinkle that on. I can tap it on. I can make it more opaque or larger or much smaller. Okay, let me know if you have specific questions as we go. Okay, I'm kind of missing having paper. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to deselect. Hang on. I'm going to make that picture of me disappear. I replace it with colored paper, blue. Hope you don't mind, guys. Hey, it didn't work. Come back. Oh, no, it's blue. It's blue, but I still have the eye icon off. So there we go. Okay, any questions? I am going to take new tool. Let's see, this fountain pen that I never, ever use. Cool. I can see right now it's very wobbly and uneven. You see that? Again, that's why I love this app, because it has a unevenness that makes it look less computery. I have it at full opacity right now. I could make it more sheer. I could also make it, what do you call it? Instead of masking, I could make it be more blending. Hello, Luana. Welcome, everybody. Now, if you don't ask a specific question, guys, I will choose a few more things to show you before we run out of time. I'm going to pick, this is my favorite tool ever. Okay, do you see this? It's the pattern tool. It's also got, okay, it has letters. You can't see that. Let me make it black so you can see it. Has different fonts. It's not so easy to type in this app, but it's nice that you can. Then it has shapes you can choose. Never used them before, but there they are. And then there's patterns. And my favorite thing in the whole wide world, Karen! Hello! I don't really use any of these, although they're all really cool. So let me show you one. There is, oh man, what to do. I want to show up, so let me use white so you can really see what I'm doing. Oop, I'm just selecting color right now. Beautiful sister, we seriously have to catch up. Okay, so what I just did was I created a shape and filled it with a pattern. Okay, so my friend would like to take a sketch and add a new background to it. I'm so glad you said that, so I'm going to show you. Okay? Yes. And before we leave, in order to do that, I am quickly going to take a stomp and smudge everything so that you know you have a stomp tool and that you have a cut tool. I'm going to cut a shape and move it. That's another thing you can do in this app that's super fun. And let me tell you something. Oh, sweetheart, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Cutting tool, I'm going to do it again. And by the way, guys, forget about, fashion illustration, whatever. Do you realize that when you play this way, you are engaging in like a fully intuitive, dreamlike, magical, mystical journey of just pure sensation? Like, allow that. That's why I like an app. Like, if you listen to the beginning of this live stream, I like an app that's impulsive and open and not too techy and too numbers based. This is a very impulsive app. So cutting tool. Back to Noe's question. I create a shape. And the thing is, you can't see it too well, but when I create that shape, it creates a dotted line. You see this dotted line? When I create a shape with my finger, it creates a dotted line around the shape, but the shape has to be closed. So like where you have to have a beginning and an ending. They have to overlap, the beginning and the end. I made a circle. Now I touch the shape and I can drag it out. Ah! But the thing is, I kind of have to put it somewhere. Pretty amazing, right? I mean, what are the implications? Like what I said about having a mystical, magical experience, like the sky's the limit. Let it take you somewhere before you start imposing things on it. But I really, really want to answer Noe's question. So let's, I just closed. I'm going to find a picture that I want to add a background to. Oh, this is too pretty. Wait, hang on. Just found these lovers. Isn't that beautiful? Again, this became very intuitive. I didn't know it was going to come out like that. Okay, back to this. Okay, so let's find something I'm not afraid to destroy. Yeah, okay, just for kicks. Let's say, Noe, you created this picture of stop signs. Can you cut the background of your own sketch? I'm not sure if you can cut backgrounds. Let's find out, darling, okay? We're going to find out right now. I'm going to top right. Oh, wait, what'd she say? Ever the best teacher. Love you so much and hope you are well and safe. You too, Karen. So much love to all of you. Karen, I think of you every single day because your picture is hanging on my wall. I think of you every single day. So, Noe, I just opened a drawing I did. And see, when you make a drawing without even thinking in this app, it shows up on a second layer. No, so the base layer is innocent. It should be pristine and bare. Ha, no. I love you guys. The more beautiful things you say to me, the more tutorials I will do. Thank you. So if I click a base, it says change paper. I say erase paper. Import photo. Let's bring in a photo. Oh boy. A picture of me. I hope this isn't too cheesy. Oh dear. Okay, now that's interesting because it showed up on the wrong layer. So I'm going to exit. Let's try this again. I want to put the photo on the base layer. Why didn't that happen? Let me try again. Erase paper, import photo. Wow, no, maybe this is why it wasn't working for you. Wait. Okay, import photo. Choose a selfie. Fine. Check mark. Ah, see? Noah, this is what you were trying to do. Do you see that the photo is behind my drawing because of the layers? It's on the bottom layer. And then my drawing's up here. And then I can make more layers on top of that too. Now, because I don't want to lose my drawing, I'm going to erase that paper again and make it go away. I just chose white paper again. Thank you, Noah. Did that make sense for you? Did you get to try that yet, Noah? Hopefully that's going to work for you. By the way, I sketched all of these while, it's like a diary. It makes me want to cry. While sitting on 13th Street at my favorite place, having my favorite hot chocolate after, like on my way to class, after spending the night with my boyfriend, and like, oh, I just look at that picture and I feel so much memories and joy. And I guess that's what it's all about, guys. Art, life, blah, blah, blah. I know that Noah had also asked me a question about how to save her image. So one thing you can do is pinch it. Watch. That just makes it small, but if I pinch it again, you see how it kind of gets put away in my sketchbook. And by the way, this live will be up for 24 hours, so you can come back to it. Oh yeah. So if I have an image and I want to do something to it, like, let's just say I open this one. Okay, again, this one's supposed to be like this. I don't know why it's doing that, but at the top of my screen, there's another tool I haven't shown you yet. You see these 3 little dots. Click the 3 little dots. You're going to see some options. One of them is video. That one videotapes you drawing while you draw. But I don't recommend it anymore because I used to try to create tutorials with it, and every now and then it just won't work. And then I get super, super upset because I lose the video. So that's what that's about. Like, oops, I don't know what just happened. So like if I click that, look what it says, recording screen. Press to stop recording. So I can start recording my screen while we work, but I don't know that it's necessarily going to work. Allow screen recording and microphone. Okay, sure. Let's see what happens. And now it's recording. And then when I press stop, it'll stop recording and it will save the video, but nothing's happening, so there's nothing for you to see. But isn't that a super feature? Thing is, I've had glitches with it. So much trauma did it give me that I haven't retested it in a long time. So maybe I'll do that later today. And then I'll click this again. There's an export button. See, and it lets me save the image or save it in Photoshop. Or save it with a transparent background, which is nice if you're making a logo. I can save it to the Sketches app on the Mac. I can print it. There's a bunch of things I can do. I can also click this to import something from the camera. I could take a picture right now. I could import a photo. I could import a file, or I could paste something in. And questions, what's that? Oh, it teaches you what the tools are for. And oh my gosh, I have to go to the bathroom. So I have to end the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and let me know what else you want to learn. Just hit me up in the DMs. I love you so much. Be safe, be well, stay home, wash your hands, and love anything near you. I don't care if it's a rock. Find something and love it up. Create, journey, and enjoy. I love you. And if you look at my website, fashionillustrationtribe.com, there are courses, there are tutorials, there are resources for art and fashion design. There's also lauravolpentesta.com. Love you, Noah. Can't wait to finally see you and go to the Samba with you. I'm still waiting to do that. You rock too. Show me your results later. Send them to me if you want. Okay. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.